Hey there, man.
Hey
Let's just get rolling in on
Yeah.
this today. We got some court cases we want to talk about, and we have a little bit of um, fluctuation in the market. So let's just dive into it today, man. Give us a little bit
Fluctuations of
something on
market, or we can talk about some of the market stuff. But the kind of going back to some of the Brunson case that we did the short on or whatever, we were going to kind of do a short on a couple more of the Supreme Court decisions that have gone on in the last year or so that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, they seem to kind of tie together, a lot of them. So give us a lowdown on what we're looking at here.
Okay, Owen. It's kind of hard for you taking pictures walking through the video. Some behind the scenes pictures, but yes, thank you.
Appreciate it, my friend.
We got cameras going everywhere. We've got a new
Associate
producer editor behind the camera, or behind the cameras today. So
Yeah.
Viv is with us today behind the board. So if anything goes wrong, we know who to
Blame
blame.
it on her today.
Like the Brunson case, though, there's a couple of other people were asking me, was there some more of these, that are out there that people should really know about?
Things we should be paying attention to.
Yeah. My question to you was, why isn't some of this like first year law school that's, pounded into their heads, but it's really kind of just left to the side sometimes.
Well, we've let ourselves lead down a path so far. It's going to take a long time to get back, and a lot of it is our constitutional rights we've kind of let slide. And some of these cases now that are being decided upon are specifically on those constitutional rights we've kind of let slide and go, because we assumed that people were doing things in our best interest, and it turns out a lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like the Brunson case where, if all that information is true, that, if he proved that they didn't follow the Constitution. And you can go back and watch our short on that. But there's a couple of other ones. Viv's going to pull up one here that there's two of them that really tie together. There's Murdoch, Pennsylvania. Okay.
Yeah, you were telling me about this one.
Right. The Murdoch, Pennsylvania one is interesting because if you really go read it, this was 1943, and basically it was Jehovah's Witnesses going door to door selling, their Bible or, paperwork or whatever it is. And they
were arrested, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were arrested.
They were arrested and said they had to pay taxes on all this and on and on and on. And they took it through all the way through the Pennsylvania courts and all the way through the appellate, all the way up to the Supreme Court in 1943. The Supreme Court ruled that no state shall convert a liberty into a privilege, license it, and attach a fee to it. So, a liberty, that's in the Constitution. That's your right to the pursuit of happiness and
right to travel.
Your
right to travel.
It's all your rights.
A lot of it has to do with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, by this ruling, and there's actually, I think, a second one.
Is there a new one? Doesn't it tie to a new case?
Well, it's not a new case. I think it's that one, maybe.
Okay.
Or is that the one we had up?
No, but that's the actual decision. But
okay.
That's all right. They need to see
Yeah,
it.
but if you go close that one right there, Viv, and leave the other one that's up.
Oh, one sec.
No, no. Take your time.
This one?
The one that we have up on the screen right now, just
Yeah.
close that. That's the one we were just talking about. Go close that one and leave the one up behind it. Because this is basically the summary. There's also another one this is basically the talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses were arrested and fined for soliciting door to door and door. There's also another one, I can't think of it right off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to pull it up. But basically, both of the Supreme Court decisions, one in 1943, and then the other one it was in the 60s or the 50s. I gotta remember.
Well, I mean, the basic gist of it all is the licensing and the fees that we're constantly paying. I mean, we're constantly paying fees for this and that. I mean,
that's that. Yeah, read the top of that. Read the top of that.
No state shall convert a liberty into a privilege, license it, and attach a fee to it.
So what? That's basically a driver's license.
Yeah, driver's license.
A plumbing license. That's an electrician license.
Yeah.
That's a building license. That's building permit in your backyard. It's any kind of license, a small business license. All of it is just attached fees to make more money. You spend more money. The Supreme Court says right there, no state shall convert a liberty into a privilege. That's a fishing license. That's a hunting license.
We do have to have standards, though, right? I mean, you do have to have standards. You can't just let anybody come in and try to wire your house up with electrical. I mean,
no.
That could end very badly.
Okay, but what was that?
But
when was that determined? Because I'm quite sure the first million electricians, when they figured out electricity and then how to move it, I'm quite sure weren't licensed electricians.
No. I mean, I mean, over time, I mean, you're paying people to do these things to your homes and other things. You want to make sure you have the right type of person in there. You can't just let anybody come in and try to wire your house up. I mean,
correct. But that doesn't mean you have to have a license.
No,
you could have references. You could have all kinds of other stuff, but it doesn't mean you have to have a license.
No, but I think a license does, in some areas, does give you comfort and satisfaction at the fact. I mean, take it for what you will. I mean, some things I think have to be kind of operated and kind of watched. I mean, otherwise you could have anybody come in and do anything, and then it cause basic devastation. But as far as it all varies. I mean, you got to remember, we license everything. So,
well, that's the problem.
License to drive is not.
It's another way of making money.
Travel is not something I agree in.
Well, it says It says in the Constitution you have the right to travel.
That's
so
right.
You don't need a driver's license, and a police officer has no reason to stop you or pull you over for any reason. Again, those are all ordinances and city and state laws that they've made that you have to have 2 headlights and you have to have blinkers, and that's just because another way of funding stuff.
Well, have they gone overboard? I think so.
Yeah, because you could drive just like you did when I was growing up, and you had to learn hand signals. I mean, why do you, if you don't have brake lights, you used hand signals. You didn't get a ticket for it.
Yeah, you stuck your hand out the window. No.
I mean,
I agree.
There's people driving trucks on the Amish and stuff that use hand signals all day long. They don't get pulled over for stuff.
Yeah, but I think we create a lot of this stuff and laws in order to make money, and
yes.
This is exactly what it is.
Yes.
So I mean, no, I agree with you on that. I mean, that's too much. We've overdone it.
Right.
We started with something simple like getting a driver's license just to make sure people could drive and do what they're supposed to do, to now making it a fee for every time you get your driver's license. Then you have to do this and you have to do that, instead of just being something, we're just making sure you can do what you can do.
Yeah, but what did we do when you were growing up?
So when I was growing up, you had to go through an education class, and then you went to the DMV and you took their written test, and then you had to sit with a
but who taught you how to drive?
Test. Oh, that was mom or dad or.
Yeah, and they decided when you were ready to take the driving test.
Yeah.
Because so now you send them to a class where somebody else does that.
Yeah.
Who do you think? And who's paying the insurance on that? The people that
we've regulated
passed them the class, or the parents?
Yeah.
If you're a parent, teach your kid how to drive at home, because you're the one that's having to insure that person and make sure they know how to drive. See, when the system starts changing, it took the parents out. So now everybody just sends them to driving school because they don't want to deal with the headache of teaching their kids how to drive.
Well, we have an iPad to teach them how to drive now, don't we?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to pay the crash fees on any of that stuff, but again, it's taking the
we
stuff
got meta for that, don't we? You put on a pair of
farther.
goggles, you drive.
But when you go there's another case, and I don't know why I didn't pull it up, but it's another case. I think it's from 1958, and I'll find it and send it to you. But there's another case that is something basically is saying the same is the same, court decision like 15 years later, basically saying that the state one was a state the Supreme Court saying a state can't make a privilege, and the other one says the federal government can't make a privilege into a right and charge a fee for it. So one was the states can't do it, and the other one was the Supreme Court saying the federal government can't do it.
And you're about to prove my point. What I was about to say. That's their biggest problem, is the fact that we do have courts that are not consistent at all. No. One court will make something valid, and another court will make it invalid. One court will make something required, and another court says, no, that's not necessary. They're acting with their powers.
Well, a lot of times that is just to make you spend more money on attorney's fees, where it drains you, so you drop out at some point in time because you can't afford to keep the legal process going.
Yeah, and that's where the problem lies. It really is if we're gonna rule on these things, once we rule on them, those other judges need to follow those other rulings. Otherwise, we're in the constant crisscross of chaos.
Correct.
One judge says something and one judge says something else, and they're complete opposites. So how am I supposed to determine
it's their interpretations instead of what the actual law says?
That, and I think a lot of it's become a political alignment.
Yeah, that's a big.
So
big.
I think that's a big.
But any of these liberties, basically, when people say, "Well, what's a liberty?" and you could probably one of those.
Have a habit of doing that.
The other one the longer one, that one. No, yeah, you need to drag it over.
You believe those Cowboys won today? Can you believe that crap?
No.
They were trying to give that game away, man. And Washington just totally gave it away.
And there are all your rights and liberties that you have by being an American citizen.
Well, that's basically the Bill of Rights.
So they can't put anything on a license and charge you a fee for anything on that list.
Yeah.
That's speech, religion, assembly, the press, your guns. You can't be charged double jeopardy. Your right to a fair trial, a jury trial, not by just a judge. Your right to vote, your right to travel, and your right to privacy. And your right to travel and your right to privacy is broken all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And then your right to life, liberty, and the property and the pursuit of happiness. And it's just going back to when they told us to shut our store for COVID. You remember all that everybody did? And
they were trying to. They were telling people to shut all their stores down and stuff, but we didn't shut down. My business didn't. Matter of fact, it's probably the most flourished we were.
Everybody in our little thing was shut down, except for us. And they came by. The police department came by, and I got all their names and said, I will sue you in the city of such and such, and in this county and the state of Texas and everybody else. Said, I have the pursuit of happiness in the Constitution. If I want to open my store, there's nothing you can do to make me close my store.
Yeah. The easiest way to quell somebody's rights is to declare an emergency.
Doesn't matter. Emergency.
And that's what they did.
Their emergency declaration does not overwrite your constitutional rights.
No.
That's what most people don't understand. So they can declare military law, but that doesn't stop you from having all those rights right there, no matter what.
No, absolutely.
Just because they come on and scare everybody with all these crazy words they use, like regulations and bylaws and it's all it's not law. I mean, it's just like when you go to it's a scare tactic. It's a scare tactic. Most of the people, that's all it is. I mean, you could pull up the little part of the Constitution that in the little yellow one. That one there. I mean,
we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government, or from the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive as at these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute a new government.
It's kind of what we're going through now, aren't we? Sorry.
Most people don't understand that. They don't see the change of what's happening.
Well, I think over the next few years, there's going to be a lot of major changes, and so
Big changes.
Yeah,
Big changes.
So I mean, even my father, who's a 77-year-old man, the other day started going, "Hey, how much did you pay for that silver the other day?" I was like,
"We'll get into that shortly." But
I paid a lot less than they're charging now.
There's two more cases that people should really know and should be taught immediately. I mean, as a law student, you should know this stuff. This should be beaten in your head so that you're never breaking anybody's rights. You're
talking about a system that is created around a group of people that if you want to challenge that system, you're outcast. You're not working, and that's what happens. So, if you want to be the lawyer,
that feels like.
You really got to have. You got to have some wherewithal and some cojones and a big backbone in order to stand up to these people nowadays, because if you do, you are going to be ostracized.
Yeah.
And I know that I know that's why the system is still rotating and rolling the way it is. Is because you will. I mean, if you come into the system and you learn that, okay, well, it's not exactly what I've been taught it was, and it's really kind of not beneficial for a defendant at all.
No.
It curbs your attitude and your demeanor and your look upon it all. But at the same time, this is your livelihood. So what are you going to do?
Well, that goes all back to what me and you have discussed before about legal paperwork coming through the mail.
Yeah.
And when people finally start understanding that your name's not all spelled in capital letters when it comes from the
it's like
government, you understand that your name's different than the name that they have.
Yeah. I mean, it's really a system that's built to be advantageous towards the government in all aspects. Mm-hmm. As much as they want to say that it is a just system for defendants and that we're looking out for their rights, well, if that were true, then you tell me why that all these people that you've released in the last 10 years that were found guilty of whatever crime it was, and they served 20, 10, 15 years, and it's because your prosecutor withheld evidence, mm-hmm. and not a damn thing happens to him. There's no incentive for those people to not do it.
Right.
So they're going to continue to do it. And until we learn and we fix a bunch of these problems, we're just going to keep rolling the same way we are.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Maybe that's what some of this new and still government may happen. I mean, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping it changes some attitudes and some things.
You got RFK and Vital coming in with that group. And Elon, if they're really coming in and really going to do what they say they're going to do,
I'm hoping they're honest. I'm hoping that it's in their heart that this is what they want to do.
Well, I think it is.
To make things better for people.
I don't think they would be at this point in time.
$1 billion.
No, I don't think it's about the money right now with them. The interesting part to go along with where they're going right now with all that is the West Virginia versus EPA.
Yeah, that's one of the most interesting
And you
cases.
can probably Google that off on your side if you wanted to pull something up about it. Because what that basically said was, if you Google it and just read the Google answer, it says, they just kind of changed it a little bit. But it's not really what you said. If you actually read the court decision and what it's meant, it's basically saying that the EPA, the IRS, the Board of Education, the FDA, on and on and on. And there's 400
agencies that were created outside of constitutional.
Correct. None of them have ever been voted on by the people. None of them have ever passed the Senate or anything
that's what I
like
was going to
that.
ask. Were they voted on in the Senate or the House at all?
No, they have no
They were
congressional
just created by
backstory. They have
executive branch.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
Not by the president either. Just by they just said. Some people said, "Well, we need an EPA." And
it had to be. It had to be done by the executive branch. If it wasn't done by Congress and it wasn't done by the House or Senate, then it has to be created by the executive branch.
There's the 21 Supreme Court ruling with West Virginia right there. See, so the EPA cannot require power plants to shift from higher emitting to lower emitting fuel sources. The court ruled the EPA's efforts to reduce carbon, da 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 da. But if Viv can pull up some more of them. There's one is what the court's decision did not strike down the Chevron difference, which it did, because every other thing will tell you that it did.
Well, this is an AI overview, dog.
Correct.
I know,
So I mean, if you're looking
for
for what, a lot of times when you
good.
pull it up, it'll give you a like what it basically says. And when you get to the roots limits, see that, keep going down, scroll down, see if you can find one that actually understanding ruling
right
protections
there.
agency.
Understanding the U.S. decision.
Well, that's coming from the Great Plains Institute, so
you probably don't want that one.
based on see, and most of them are explaining what the carbon thing, and that's if you go to the actual ruling, we need to read the the actual.
Well, you probably have to go to this government down. Look at the bottom down there, Supreme Court of the United
that's
States.
just going to give you the thing.
.gov.
Look up like
go to Supreme Court rulings.
Ruling regulations.
No, I'm clear on that. I mean, this is.
Yes, I mean, you don't need to pull up the Supreme Court thing, because unless you're going to go to the decision and read the decision, exactly all the information, I don't know exactly where it is. Basically, what it says is if you get down to the baseline of all of that, it basically says that anything that was not created in Congress has no authoritative power.
Yeah, it does. It declares a couple of different things, doesn't it? In the 63 Congress did not grant that the EPA to regulate emissions from existing plants based on generation mechanisms. Okay. Technical jargon I don't understand.
if you really, there's a couple of ones out there that explain it the right way, then a very short synopsis or whatever that you can just like do. But basically, that's if you go in and read it all. And you can see where it's not just West Virginia, but look at the names of West Virginia. It's the Coal Corporation, the West Warren Lining Company, North Dakota Environmental Protection Agency. All of them were all against the EPA in this thing. Or West Virginia was against all of them. Because they were trying to put in regulations and all this stuff in West Virginia about air quality and standards and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, who are you? You just can't come into our state.
Well, was there any scientific work done behind it?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The federal government can't come into a state, and that's what the Supreme Court said. The federal government just can't come into a state and basically set up regulations. It has to go through Congress. And if it doesn't go through Congress, the Supreme Court really saying is the EPA and all the rest of these are not Congress approved. They were never voted on. Okay. The people never voted and said, we want an EPA.
Yeah.
We want an IRS. They were, like you said.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
They were executive legislation that was just put in power, and people went, oh, I guess that's the new norm now. And it's like the Supreme Court saying, no, any of these agencies that were created outside of the government that don't have congressional support and weren't voted on by Congress.
Weren't authorized by Congress.
They're illegal.
Okay.
You do not have to follow their laws and regulations.
So I have a question for you then. So if these were authorized by Congress and whatnot, I mean, what would you want somebody to overlook this?
Yeah, what needs to happen is those 400 different agencies need to be brought up on the next ballot by the people and say, do you want the EPA? Do you want to fund this? Do you want the IRS and do you want to fund this?
It leads to my next question, though. My next question is, once you authorize and you say okay, and everybody agrees to it, are you then going to accept whatever they find, or are you going to challenge? Well, if they
Just
decide
delete
that certain things need to be done in order to, curb, say depletion of forest in the U.S.
Yeah.
They don't want to. We don't want to see all the trees chopped up in Montana or whatever, wherever. Okay, and they decide that's what needs to be done. Are you going to agree to that, or are we going to challenge that too?
Well, that.
So
I don't know.
once you
I don't
agree
know, I don't
agree
know
on the,
whose trees we're talking about. If we're talking about trees in Montana,
well, it could be anything that the EPA, okay, say that we've now agreed that we need some kind of overwatch over our environment.
Okay.
Okay, so but once we put this in place, we got to accept what they say, right? Or do we challenge everything? Do we
no.
challenge things
Again, you're not giving
constantly?
you're not definitely not giving the EPA just full authority to do whatever they want to.
Okay.
You set them up, and these are the guidelines you follow. Here is who you report to, and here's where your budget review is at the end of the year. And if you're over budget, it comes out of your paycheck.
Okay. Well, so there'll be guidelines, is what I'm saying. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. All right.
the people or Congress have set up. Right now, Congress has basically said, "Oh, well, just the EPA, you make your own
They've given
regulations
them unauthorized access to anything they want.
to do whatever they
do
want to." And
basically.
nobody's ever
Yes.
decided that the American people wanted any of these. They were never voted on.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was an executive decision or an interdepartmental decision to say, "Oh, well, we need to start a new department." And then they just go in and vote and go, "Okay, well, we need $35 billion to start this new program." They don't give a shit what you say at home. They just start up a new program. And then they make some guy
So do we
that's been
vote on everything that they ask for? Is that what you're asking of them, or
I think
do we
we-
give them certain authorizations?
No. If you don't have approval from the people or Congress,
That's a
you
lot
should
of-
have no power at all.
It's a lot of voting on things. If you don't give somebody
Well,
some kind of authorization,
If you're starting
because
new,
it's
then
not
you're-
just the EPA.
If
you're
you're
talking
starting
about.
it new, yeah, I know. If you're starting it new, then you start from a vote from new.
Yeah. Okay.
Those agencies include the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard. All that is not in the Constitution, has never been voted on by the Congress either. They're part of those agencies.
Well, I mean, the Constitution does allow for
A militia.
Navy. It does allow for a Navy. It does allow maritime law. So I mean,
Yeah, but if you go read the Constitution,
all the
it's
other
only
stuff,
during wartime.
you're getting me on my knowledge.
You bring your militia together and the army together, and you fight a war, and then everybody goes home, and it's not wartime anymore.
Yeah,
We've been
but
in
that's-
wartime.
You can't
for,
do that anymore. I mean, we're at a different time. I mean, that was acceptable maybe probably back when we were running around in carts and horses, but now that you've got planes and airstrikes, and I mean, everything's instant. It's not. We need to talk about it. No,
Well,
it's got.
you're not
sometimes
talking about.
the decision's got to be made, and you got to go.
You're not talking about a war decision. That's the president and the military. You're
But
talking about, can the EPA come in and tell you have to have a certain.
No, the EPA is different. I'm not
No,
talking about that.
that's what we're not talking about. The government. We're not talking about stuff. That's what I'm saying. If they voted on all this stuff, people
Yeah.
would check yes for the Army, yes for the Navy, yes for the Marines, yes for the Coast Guard, yes for the Air Force, yes for Space
You
Force.
just want to have a vote for it all.
It needs to be, or it can't be part of the government. That's the whole point. That's what
Well,
the
the
Supreme
Navy's
Court
set
said.
up in the Constitution. You can't
Go
divert
show me
that.
where the word Navy
It says
is
maritime
in the
law.
Constitution.
Maritime law. Anytime you're talking about maritime law, it's Navy.
Every time, when we're talking about maritime
So-
law, that's corporation,
No, that's
and
not.
that's travel, maritime
That's
travel,
it's commerce.
commerce. It has
But
nothing to do
but
with.
it's also about maritime law. If you read history, it's about naval law. So it does.
I have to disagree with the way it was written.
And
It wasn't. It was
maybe
written.
look
it
us
was-
up there, Viv.
It
See-
was
see
written
what we
during
got.
that time, but the Constitution has nothing
I need to
to
go
do
back
with.
and do some research, man. You
Has
got me looking
nothing.
up
It
law
says
stuff lately.
nothing in there anywhere of us having a military, Marines, an Air Force, a
militia.
Navy, or anything. It was a militia in time of defense.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say is, yes, there are a bunch of these agencies that need to be deleted. There are a bunch of
I
these
agree with that.
agencies that are in the agencies that are good agencies.
Yeah. We just need to
Water,
decipher which we
there's-
need, what we don't.
Correct. That's why you put it up to
Yeah.
a vote. people get to see and say
I'm not
the
against that.
if you're voting yes for the Army, that's $55 billion in taxes every year. And when people start looking at it and they see that the Board of Education is getting like hundreds of billions of dollars, and the veterans is getting like millions, they're going to say yes to veterans, and they're going to say no to the Department of Education and no to some of this other stuff that's just been just a shithole of money waste.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. We
Now-
waste a lot of money on a
Now,
lot
if
of
you
different
want to
agencies.
delete
so
the
I'm
EPA
not
and get
against
rid
that
of
at
them
all.
and the Board of Education and a couple of these other ones, the IRS, but yes. Now, if you want to bring them back in a year with new laws and new regulations about what they can and can't do so that everybody knows the law, so
Yeah.
everybody can be respectful of the law. Again, find me the law. Anybody out there, find me the law, the tax law or the federal law that says
No, there's not a tax law.
you could tax. It says right in the
It's
Constitution.
about commerce as far as federal government's
It
concerned.
says right in the Constitution, if you read it, you cannot be taxed on your labor. I don't understand what people don't understand about that. It says right in the Constitution, you cannot be taxed for or on your labor. That means any
Social
kind of
Security.
work you do, you can't be taxed. But again, they just
we signed up for
changed it.
something we did. Well, that comes into a whole different story because we signed up for something we didn't know a long time ago. That's called Social
Well, no,
Security.
it's all. I mean, Social Security.
Once you sign that contract, you've now agreed to be a part of the federal government. That's
Yeah, well, that's your birth certificate.
so. Yep. Well, what's the first two things they do when they come in and your child's born?
Birth certificate.
Birth certificate, and you want your child to have a social security number? That's what they come in and ask. I mean, your child's been born like what, 12 hours, 10 hours?
And when people really find out that number is kind of like your prison number or your
Well, that's your federal ID number now. That attaches you to everything there is.
Your prison number. It links you to all the tax money and all the trade and everything they can do. And
I mean that's being part of the system now. So we'll have to dive into all that.
all that all that stuff, marriage license, anything that has a license that you have a personal right to do.
I was always that was a
allowed to
big
be-
thing I had too before I got married, and the only time I got married. But I mean that was the one thing I had was that I really did not want that. I kind of let her talk me into it. The one thing I did not want to do was get married and sign a piece of paper with the federal government. If we got married and we did it in a gazebo and had just our families around and all this kind of great stuff, that was cool with me. But as far as I was concerned, it was between us and God. And after
That's
that,
where it should be.
Yeah, after that, I didn't really feel it necessary. The only reason
Why do you have to pay for a $150 marriage license?
shit. Another fee.
Another fee.
So
They just keep dropping fees. When you keep
I
dropping
need that money.
fees, it's.
there was something else, man, I wanted to talk about as well, man. I saw this case the other day. It came out of L.A.
Oh, yeah. you
Los
gotta pull this up.
Angeles. And it was the
Because I haven't got to read much about it.
yeah, this was kind of interesting, I thought, because it
You're gonna
was
have
a
to give her the
giant.
info. She didn't even.
Yeah, it's in the email on there. If you look in the email, it'll say Rich, it should say 836 pound. I think it's an emerald, and it's from. And they've been fighting for like 10 or 15 years to get this daggum thing back. And we've been holding it in storage, man, because apparently this is one of those stolen gems over time, from my understanding of the article. Right there.
After years of limbo in L.A.
Yep. And you know what the curious part about this whole story is?
Bahia Emerald.
The
You got
co-
to scroll down. I got to see what this emerald looks like.
So I'm not sure they ever show it.
Oh, well,
But-
you're gonna have to look that up if they don't
Yeah,
show it.
yeah,
I
we'll
want to
have to
see
look
what this
that-
thing looks like. Well, hang on. What does it say? For more than 15 years, one of the world's most famous gemstone, that 1,800,000 carat
108,000 carat.
Bahamian emerald has been held in Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department custody. Its ultimate fate is uncertain. Now, a federal judge ruled that the smuggled stone should be
So
returned.
basically,
to
it's
its home.
returning back to Brazil.
According to Brazilian authorities,
It's
it's
been
one of the
sitting in this
largest
vault.
emeralds, if not the largest ever discovered.
And it was
It
originally.
weighs 836 pounds.
Uh huh.
Look at the worth.
$925 million. That's why LA's been fighting it for all these years. It wasn't theirs to begin with.
Oh, you got to find us a picture
Is
of
there a
this.
picture?
They've been
Over
fighting
here?
this
Hold
thing.
on.
Man,
This shows you the greed of people, man. It's like this diamond wasn't this.
Wait, stop right
wasn't
there. Wait.
theirs.
In 2000, the Brazilian government convicted 2 Brazilian residents of illegally smuggling after 2 men lost an appeal. How did they how did they get it here? It wasn't like they put it in their shoe or something.
Some rich person had them smuggle it across because
No
if
picture.
I'm not
Well,
mistaken,
scroll
it
back.
was found and it was sitting in a vault in 2005.
Scroll back.
And,
down. Keep going back up.
The Hurricane Katrina, and that's how it was all unwound from there.
So yeah, keep going. What is it called? So look up 800. Copy the 836-pound Bahia emerald, and
All right, hold on.
and then
So-
Google it and see if there's a picture.
But
of it.
yeah, they've been fighting this government.
So wait.
This for
So
years.
so how did it get confiscated in L.A.?
Well, I'm not sure how it made it to L.A. As far as that, I'm not sure if L.A. had some kind of tie to the actual, because it was actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was discovered in 2005, underwater in Katrina. Some guy had reported it.
In Louisiana?
Yes, it reported it as lost, and it was his lost in Katrina, and so I think they actually found it. Now I'm not sure how it transported and how the case got to L.A. To be quite honest, so that's the only quirk I have about it all is how did L.A. get involved in it, other than maybe it was the resident who owned a house in L.A. as well as in Louisiana. So he filed it there, because if you live in a certain place, you can file for your losses in that if you live in that city or county. So, but yeah, look at the size of that thing.
Hold on, I gotta
I
try
mean, that's
to bring it up here.
fucking huge. Excuse me, kids. That's freaking huge.
Yeah, we were trying to find.
It's hard to.
Go,
I mean, look at that. No, I mean you can see it right there.
Go back and click on the image tab. Go back up. Hit back.
Now it's up to $1 billion after 23 years. That mo is over $1 billion, and it's cursed. Companies that have been fighting for this have lost their asses, or
Really?
people have died around it. It's crazy.
I haven't heard anything about this.
So we're
Oh,
gonna
that's the one you wanted up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to add more to the next podcast as far as this case is concerned.
Close some of the browsers. You got like
that's
12,
awesome.
It's like 12
Hey,
browsers
listen,
open.
give the
That's
newbie
awesome.
a break here.
No, I like that. That was a good shot though.
Type that
Nothing like
back in
nothing
again.
like a giant's ass out in front of you.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Then just click on, when it comes up, just click on images and right there and just see what.
There you go.
So,
Oh, no. Fate of the cursed
800
giant
Hard to
emerald.
get a sense of how
Hit
big
that.
it is.
2
without-
days ago.
Which one?
The one with the guy holding
with the
it.
guy. That him?
Curse. Let's see what this says.
Yeah, that's it. Fate of the cursed giant emerald.
I'm telling you, people have been dying around this thing trying to get it back.
Oh no.
I'm like, yeah, well, you can keep it. I don't give a shit how much it's worth.
You gotta hit the blocker thing or whatever down there. The red thing at the bottom.
Yeah.
Go to the right and hit the
No,
X.
it's X to the right. You got it, girl.
Now you can probably scroll down.
Yeah, but I can't.
Look at that. That can't be. That's
Not on
got to be
800
more. That can't be all of it because that's more. That's not 836 pounds right there.
I don't know how much is the
It
weight
said
of an
weight
emerald.
836.
Yeah, it's
pounds.
836 pounds.
That thing can't weigh 200 pounds. What he's got in his hand. If that was 800 pounds, it'd be solid gold or something like that.
I don't know the weight of an emerald.
I think it would be
What? We
bigger
need to
than
pull
that. I
that
think
up.
it would be as big as a dining room table, probably.
Not necessarily. I mean, if it has a high was it high density?
Well, yeah, but I mean that's crazy.
Yeah. So we'll have to get back into this one next time.
Well, now I want to know a little bit more about how it got here.
That's my point. we're gonna have to travel the story a little bit.
Cursed. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to read up about this. I haven't heard anything.
There it is at the bottom there. A legal battle over ensued in 2014 as many as 10 individuals, corporations, and the Brazilian government fought over ownership. On so
Yeah, close this one.
Sorry.
Close it. Let's close that one.
New York Post. They want you to pay for everything,
Yeah.
so they're not going to give you any free information.
That thing is enormous. That
Yeah.
thing's crazy.
That's what I said. It's one piece, man. What the guy holding is actually what it is.
Wow.
Now it looks
he's
like
looking at- wait,
hold
say
on,
it.
hold
The
on. It
longest-
looks like the emeralds are actually encased in a stone or some sort.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly.
Oh, it's
complete.
180,000 carats.
Uh-huh.
Stands about 3 feet tall.
So
Can you scroll down?
See, listen to that right there, right
Well,
there.
yeah. What that little paragraph right there? Yeah. Wait.
I can't maximize
Stop.
this,
No. Just
so it's
stop.
showing on the screen.
Scroll down.
It was later said
Stop.
that it was
Okay.
later said that it's been stored
world's
at a
in-
warehouse in New Orleans that was flooded during the Katrina hurricane 2005, and then was stolen
from another
warehouse
warehouse
in Los Angeles. I guess that's how they got involved.
Over Monte. It was sighted briefly in Idaho before authorities finally seized it in Vegas.
In 2008.
The gem is now being held in storage in Los. What if they found it in Vegas? Why is it in New Orleans or
So-
Los Angeles?
Because it was also legally held in Los Angeles warehouse.
Imagine something that weighs
So-
that much. It's the size of as much as a water buffalo.
Crazy, huh?
That. How did it get moved around? Somebody driving around in their car?
Dude, it was on a
No,
giant
I mean,
wheel thing, man. It was on a giant heavy crane wheel, man. You just kind of you had to roll that bitch around. You're not carrying that nowhere.
That's insane.
That's
No,
awesome.
I didn't hear anything about any of that. That was last month or so. I'm gonna have to read up a little bit about.
So, yeah, that was my kind of unique thing I found this week.
Cool.
I was like,
Cool.
so what you guys doing over the holidays here? Y'all gonna be hanging out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got into some more of the the last couple of nights. More of the Mandela.
Oh yeah, you sent me
gosh.
that Mandela effect thing. I was like,
That one, the song.
yeah, the
That-
song thing.
I mean, that one is too freaky.
I'll be home
Yeah.
for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That was crazy,
yeah.
man.
I'll be home
For
for
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah, that was a very popular line back in that era too.
Yeah,
But
it
I didn't
was.
realize how fucking popular. Excuse me.
I don't do.
That's crazy. Yeah, I saw that. You had posted up on that little web chat there with us all. Thought it was cool as hell, man. I was like, damn, that is freaky.
Yeah, I don't
So tell people about this
I'm
real
trying
quick.
to think of this is.
It's about the it's a Mandela
Oh,
effect.
it's I'll be home for Christmas, and I mean, here,
many people
babe, I'm gonna send you it to our email,
Okay.
and then you can put it up there and play it.
And how many people actually sing this thing? This is crazy.
Yeah, this is weird. I didn't understand this at the beginning. I still don't understand it. So, if you want to help us out and figure out and tell us what's going on here, we would really love some of your
Your thoughts?
and opinions on this.
Yes, please.
Because this is a TikTok that Vivian actually found. She actually sent it to me a couple days ago.
Yeah,
And it's got
that's what
like,
I
I don't know, 60 or 70, 80,000 views or something like that or whatever.
It's trippy, man. I was like, wow.
I
mean,
once she gets it to her, where she can pull it up on the screen, then, yeah. Some of these are a couple of these. There's new ones like the Bernstein Bears. Everybody remembers the Bernstein Bears. It was a book.
Yeah. Take off.
Yeah, but you spell it.
You can blank on me.
We can hear you.
Oh,
Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, she's gonna bring it over here and start from the beginning. Back it up.
I will. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, I don't know if I can.
a little
I've
bewildered.
never heard one of these. It's "You Can Count on Me."
plan on me. You can plan on
It's crazy, isn't it?
How many times have you sung this song in your life?
That lyric?
Yeah, that lyric.
Probably.
Hold on, one more.
So why are all the other ones changed? So
I don't know, man.
Do we just remember differently?
I don't know, man. I always thought it was count two. I don't know, man. It's weird. I remember the Frank Sinatra one as you can count on me.
It's a classic.
And then they do that, and I was like,
What?
wait a minute.
What was the Bill? Didn't we see a Billy Joel one?
Yes. It was Piano Man.
It was Piano Man,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't remember.
It was
I can't remember what
Son, can you play me a...
Son, can you play me a memory?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
Memory?
really sure.
How it goes.
Or
I'm
melody.
sad and
It's
sweet.
not. It's not memory.
What's
No,
it?
it's Melody.
Can you play?
Oh, yes,
me
Can You Play Me
a
a Melody is actually what it is.
No, you're thinking about later on in the song
No, the Mandela
No.
says that it's memory.
that it's
No,
memory.
it's not. I remember Melody. That one I remember.
It's met with the way I sang it at the
remember
beginning.
Melody. Actually, sure
It
how
says
it goes.
memory now. Go back and listen to the song. It says memory.
You got to be kidding me.
No. You know how many times I've seen Billy Joel 11 times in concert.
So that song now says memory.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking what? pull that stuff up.
The best one is do you? Okay, here you go.
Whoa.
Here you go.
I always remember. Can you play me a melody? Not really sure how it goes.
I'll give you-
It's sad
I'll
and
give you a
sweet,
good
and I
one.
knew it complete.
My favorite movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, Christmas Vacation.
Oh yes, I was watching it last night.
Uncle Eddie, standing out in the driveway with his cigar and his Meisterbrow, and if you never had Meisterbrow beer, you missed something real good.
Or Schlitz.
Yeah, and his bathrobe, and he's holding the big hose, and the stuff's coming out. And what does he say?
Oh man. Something about the gas line. I can't remember.
No, that's inside. That's Chevy Chase inside. When he's standing out there
but-
with the thing, and he looks over, he goes, "Hey, morning, shitter's full."
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
shitter is full, or shitter's full. That's all he's ever said.
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Shitter's full, and you can go out and look at sweaters and
T-shirts.
That Christmas ones are. It says
Shitter's
shitters,
full.
shitters with an S, full. Go watch the movie.
What does it say now?
Shitter was full. Merry Christmas. Shitter was full. And it's like, what? He never said was.
I think these people are messing with us, man. Sometimes, man. I think it's a purpose.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So-
I don't know. Do you have that up right there? Yeah. Old man
Yeah.
said,
Play
"Let's
me
make
a
love to-"
memory. What? Bull crap. I call bull crap. Son, can you play me a memory? I'm not even listening to that no more.
And people say it was what?
Melody. It's always with melody. I don't give a crap what that thing says. Google is full shit.
So there's Melody up here.
It's melody in the second verse.
Yeah, right here. And
No.
it's-
I can't play for a minute.
Yeah, that's where melody was. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
I thought it was this other way. Flipped. We're all in the mood for a memory, and we're not really. And you've got us feeling all right.
It's like the Bernstein Bears. Watch this. Okay, you have this up on the screen. Leave it up on the screen.
Man, I wonder if I have this record at
I'll
home.
get it back up.
I wonder if I have this record at home. I got a lot of records.
Just go in the search bar there.
Crap.
It's search bar there, and type in Bernstein Bears. Remember the books when we were kids? The Bernstein Bears.
Berenstein, right?
Nope, that's not how it was spelled when I was a kid. See the third one down where it says Berenstein? That's how the Bernstein Bears, and if you go look at your old books, if you have any, but
Yeah, I thought it was EIN.
it is. Now, click on the animated series.
Berenstain.
That's the new
They're
name.
not stained. They weren't stained.
It's all the burn. There
They're
is
not
no
stained. They're brown bears.
There's no Bernstein
no
Bears
stains on 'em.
anywhere anymore. It's all the Bernstein Bears.
Stains. They didn't like the Jewish thing. I bet. I bet that came up.
It's
bet.
just-
but
but
so
it's-
they're like, oh wait, we got to change this fucking name.
It's just weird. Did they just change? Do they change shit when they want to, or
Oh, dude, I think they do all the time. They play it off like they no, what? Huh? I don't. No, that didn't happen.
go get your book, your old books? If you got any old kids books,
It's stained.
it's Steen. I'll bet you any amount of money it's Steen. Some of it's just some of it's. Some people say we're jumping timelines. We're
No,
so
don't start
we've
getting the timeline.
no, we've already been Back to the Future. We're trying to we went back and now we're trying to get back and we're merging timelines. That's what people say. But where's the that wasn't Bernstein Bears. I can bet
No,
you. I'll
I'd
bet
be
you
more believe
anything.
somebody's fucking with me, man.
The
Sorry, kids, y'all got to quit watching at this point because Uncle's cussing.
the Google Translator did not work correctly at this point in time for some reason. But there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, I
that
remember
are
it's
like-
Stain. Stein. So
Well, that's like you remember the adult diapers.
depends.
What
It was depends.
Yeah, but how do you spell depends?
Depends.
Okay, well, here you go. Watch this. There's depends, right? You see what we're Googling.
Depends on the weapon and the man.
Depends diapers.
That's what it comes up. What?
There's depends diapers.
Oh, hold on. I gotta get that on
Depend.
the screen here.
Yeah, what happened to the S? Are you going to tell me it's been depend this whole entire time and everybody's been saying depends?
Man, they're jacking with us. I'm telling you, dude. Somebody's jacking with us.
Why did it look? There's not one that says depends.
And I'd be more likely to believe that the guy that's running the marketing department came from a different timeline and actually doesn't realize that he's talking shit. He's like, no, we didn't have that. What are you talking about? You know?
I mean, look at that.
No.
Come on, man. So you got to
That's what I'm saying.
explain.
Come on, man.
Somebody explain some of this to me, please. Please.
Maybe Amazon can. They bought everything else.
Amazon might be the problem. but,
Amazon made it, bought them and changed the name. And they're like, no, we didn't do that. What are you talking about?
Man, we've been cruising along right here.
So, well,
Yeah, we
wind it up here.
we have a couple more of these things we can go through, but we'll save them for later. I mean, this is kind of we wanted to go across a couple things, and I know we're
talking. Had a good time
yeah,
talking.
we hadn't sat down. I think I did the short, and then we did then we had
Angelo. over.
Angelo on. It's just been kind of a hectic couple of weeks. We've been kind of running in circles of each other, trying to.
Well, I've got something for you guys. I want y'all to do. This is kind of a little.
You talking to me or you
Ploy.
talking to the people at home?
This is for our people at home. I want them to kind of and we've been talking about watching this. It's called this new show on Netflix called Buy Now.
Yeah, we do have
Okay?
to watch that.
We're going to be talking soon about a discussion I wanted to have called Disposable Nation, and it's kind of what we have turned into. And this show kind of reflects a little bit about that conversation.
Right.
So if you guys could watch it a little bit, and then what we'll do is next episode or the one after that, we'll let you know ahead of time when we're going to talk about it, and have you guys kind of have your input at the same time. We'll do a live episode or something like that. And so get your thoughts together, talk to us, and my name's Rich, and until then, Marty.
Yeah, well, hopefully everybody has a good Thanksgiving, and I don't know if we'll be back on for anything before then. We might have a couple, might have a
do some
shorter.
shorts.
We might do something like that before then, but I don't know if we'll be back on with a full podcast before Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll try to get one out over the Thanksgiving
No,
weekend if we got some time around to do. I'd really like to get Viv on this side of the camera, and
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you today for
for jumping
all your
in
stuff, and you did an awesome
Very
job.
welcome.
Everybody give her the clap.
now we don't have to worry about
And
you
if you give her a
standing.
golf clap, I will kick your ass.
We don't have to worry about you standing in the hallway anymore, looking at your watch, wondering when we're going to be done. Now that we've got you involved, you have to do
Yeah.
something. So,
All right.
but no, we definitely, hopefully, we get Kristen or somebody like that. I'd really like to do some, you guys talking about some of the naturopathy, and some stuff like that. I really want to get an episode done of that very quick. Or
Okay.
we need to get that one done shortly.
We'll put that on the calendar. We'll throw it out on Facebook.
Or
that way we can
what
get
would
everybody know
really
when
be
we're doing.
cool is if we could, I'll reach out to her. It would be really cool if we could do it on like a Friday or Saturday, do another live for a couple hours where people could come on and chat and ask questions. That would be really cool.
I'm down every day.
And that's good for us because you and I could get the show started, and then if we got them yapping and they got, you know,
we can go eat our chicken wings.
I mean, if we got, if we got a group like we did on the last chat that was positive and asking questions and all the stuff like they were doing on the last chat, then they'll be asking you guys questions. You guys
Shout
can
out to your
chit-chat
sister and
we
shout
can-
out to Kim.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
again.
Kim and Shauna, we have to get you guys back on too. That's
Yes,
another
miss.
thing we need to do. We need to get them back on and say hello. So
Absolutely.
hopefully, if Kim, if you're out there, you better be watching. We're back around to you, and Shauna will be back around to you too. I think that's about all we got. I'm glad we're ready for Thanksgiving, I guess.
Yeah, I'm
So-
ready for some food, man. I'm ready to eat, dude. I'm gonna pack it away, dude. I told my niece and nephew, keep your butt away from an uncle on Thanksgiving Day because his ass is on the couch. So until
All
then,
right.
my friends.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Well, we're gonna bring a lot to you, man. So y'all just stay tuned and be prepared.